Hi, champ. Welcome to a new episode of Bloom with Frances. And as usual, my name is Frances Okeke. Today, my topic is on Me Too. I know you've heard about the Me Too movement. So, as usual, I love stories, so I'm going to try and pass my message across with stories. Tina stared at the TV screen. She didn't notice her hands were shaking. She was back in that room, her back on the cold floor, tears streaming down her face as she cried and begged him for mercy. She snapped back to the present. She thought she was safe and had moved past it. He's running for president? She muttered disbelievingly as she watched the multitude of faces smiling at him with love and admiration as he gave his speech on TV. He is running for president? She shouted as the rage took over her. No! People need to know the kind of person he is behind closed doors. This man doesn't deserve it. He might have fooled people, but not her. They don't know him like she did. She didn't want revenge. She just wanted people to know. How could she live with herself, watch him smile, and fool the whole country as president? Then, he had told her no one would ever believe her. Right now, she didn't care. They needed to see who he was, to know who he was, to know what he had done. She was scared years back, but now, no more. He didn't deserve it. He was never going to be president as long as she was alive. Lola threw a handful of potato chips. Okay, this is story number 2. Lola threw a handful of potato chips into her mouth, her eyes glued to the TV screen. A lady named Tina had come forward to accuse the beloved presidential aspirant of rape. No one believed Tina. Lola shook her head, her mind filled with rage. She thought about the man that had raped her years ago. Her life was shit. That rape had destroyed her. Men like this one did as they pleased and they got away with it. Look at his lying face, rapist, she yelled. Lola picked up her tab and searched online for all the info she could get on this presidential aspirant. Yes, he wasn't the man that had raped her years ago, but he would do. He was a man. This Tina needed help and she, Lola, was going to make sure she got this rapist. Story number 3. Sissy yawned as she rocked her baby to sleep. As a little girl, she'd always thought she was going to be a star, a celebrity, loved and adored by all, traveled from country to country in the latest designer wears. She glared at her baby with hate. This was baby number 2. She looked around her tiny apartment that her boring little job could afford and swore beneath her breath. How had she gotten here? She sighed and put on the TV. Her favorite talk show was on. The sleep left Sissy as she listened attentively. The presenter was talking to 2 ladies named Tina and Lola, who said a presidential aspirant had raped them. Wait, she remembered seeing them on a different popular show yesterday. Come on, I look better and hotter than them. That should be me on TV. She thought to herself as an idea clicked. She smiled. It was time to fulfill her little girl dream. Who knows? She could do the rounds on TV shows and on radio, magazine covers, movies, music videos, the whole works, and make some good money too. Her smile broadened. She was going to be rape victim number 3. Story number 4. Gladys laughed her heart out as she watched the TV screen. 3 women? He raped 3 women for something she had offered him for free. He had looked at her like she was beneath him. So superstar mini god was a rapist. She had hated him after that night. Who the hell did they think he was? She had offered herself to him and he had said no. He had said no to Gladys. Nobody turned her down but he had. She watched his face on screen. trying to refute the rape allegations against him. He had battered her self-esteem and self-worth with that no. She smiled happily and looked up, thanking the universe for presenting her with an opportunity to pay him back. Story number 5. Jane froze as the lights came on, revealing her near-naked body beneath a boy's. She tried to button up fast, but her fingers refused to work. "What are you two doing here?" Jane tried to think. What would her parents think and everyone in school think if they had heard that she had snuck into an empty classroom on campus to have sex? Her parents would be laughed at by their friends. The whole community would turn against her and against them. Her parents would be disappointed in her. They had always taught her that her virtue was important to them. She wasn't even dating this guy. She had seen him on campus once or twice. He was the head of a campus club, a sports athlete, and he was handsome with a super house banging body. They had just met at a party that night. "Did he rape you? Are you okay?" the security man asked. "Rape?" Jane heard her voice croak. The boy denied it vehemently and begged her to say something. Jane was still frozen. Weeks passed. He had blown out of proportion. She hadn't expected things to turn out this way. It was just a small lie to cover up. Yesterday, a presidential aspirant had been accused of rape by many women. By a presidential aspirant who had been accused of rape by many women had committed suicide. Today, her alleged rapist had committed suicide too. She cried as the image of this young, lifeless body flashed before her mind. What had she done? Tasha counted the bills they gave her. She couldn't believe her luck. $20,000 to just come out and say that she was also raped by a man. She never cared much for politics and she had no scruples being used as a pawn to bring down an opponent. This money and fame that would come with this was well worth it to her. Come on, she'd always wanted fame. Story number, I've lost count. Mabel picked up the bottle of pills. Her body heaved and shook as she cried her heart out. She couldn't believe it. She had been raped by a popular man. It had been hard for her to come out and say that she had been raped. But no one had believed her story. People said a presidential aspirant and a young athlete had committed suicide after false rape accusations. Some of the women who had accused them had come forward to say it had all been a lie. Everyone had laughed at Mabel and called her a fame whore, a reputation destroyer. She wasn't them. She wasn't lying. The memory of the rape was still fresh in her mind. She had made the mistake of waiting for 2 months, and now there was no evidence. But she wasn't lying. He had raped her. He had put his hands on her. The animal had raped her. Her rape was real. It was very real to her, still real. The world was wicked and she couldn't say it anymore because no one believed her. No one agreed that she was raped. They all believed that she was trying to bring down an innocent man, a popular man, because she wanted fame and money. But she was raped. He had raped her. He had destroyed her life. She could still feel it. She could still hear him and feel him on top of her. But no one believed her. And now her life was ruined the more. She took the pills and poured some into her hands and swallowed them. She couldn't stay in this world anymore. She was tired. Hi champ, thank you so much for reading my thoughts on the Me Too movement. And I hope my stories made you understand what I was trying to say. As usual, these are my thoughts, and I hope as imperfect as they are, they've been able to help you somehow. And do not forget that you're a champ, and I love you, but God loves you more. Till next time, this is Bloom with Frances. Bye champ. And my name is Frances Okeke.